We still continue to wait to find out if O.J. Simpson will be released in October on parole. But we want to play for you a portion of his parole hearing with Christina Pink. I'm Doug Gottlieb. And O.J. earlier was explaining to the parole board how he believes the public will treat him if, in fact, he's released from prison.
Wherever we've been, it's always a crowd. This is not new to me. Rarely have I even in the last 20 years, rarely have I even had any person give me any negative stuff in the street. I mean, people give you looks and everything, but I'm pretty easily approachable. I've dealt with it my whole life, and I really don't foresee any problem dealing with the public.
I will tell you, I have a friend who was on Nantucket, and this goes back years ago, was on Nantucket and was getting ready to play. He called up, there's like a public course there, and he called up the local municipal course and said, I'd love to walk up and play. I'm just one. And so they added him to a threesome that was looking for a foursome. It's a good friend of mine. He's in the media. I'll just leave his name out of it. And he gets up to the first hole when it's his tee time. And he's loose, and he shakes hands with two gentlemen. They're sharing a cart together, and he turns, and they're like, oh, we were sharing a cart with that gentleman there. And it was O.J. Simpson. And they played 18 holes. He's like, he's a fairly enjoyable fellow. He had just, at the time, I think, dropped his daughter off at college. She was at BU at the time, so this is going back years ago. And I do think there's in the answering that question, there's a reality to the he's always been able to handle it. There hasn't been negativity. It should be pointed out that was 9 years ago when O.J., though he couldn't blend in, he could blend in more. The documentary has kind of reinvigorated our memories of O.J., who he was, O.J., the personality, and O.J., the acquitted of, but found guilty of in a civil court, double murderer. And so while just things have changed, I think O.J. could have hidden 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Most of us forgot whatever happened to O.J. Simpson other than he got off. I didn't know about Florida, Miami partying O.J. Simpson any more than most of you did until the documentary. But I also think that's changed. Right? Like yesterday on this very set, we were talking about Cookie Johnson, Magic Johnson's wife, was asked by TMZ about whether Lonzo Ball was better than Magic Johnson. Like, I haven't seen, I've seen Cookie in pictures at various charity events, but I haven't heard her speak in 20, no one's ever gone up to her. Why? Because you can blend in. It's way harder to blend in 2017 than it was in 2007. I have this saying on my radio show, there are no more secrets, only facts yet to be revealed. That's because there's nothing that we can't find out about people if we don't want to. From the government to you and the public or whatever, there's no people that can't be found. It's much easier to find people. And then when you factor in that he won't have a passport, it's not like he's going to go out of the country, so he'll be somewhere in this country. You'd like to think that he would go off to some far-off place in our country and not be heard from, but he's O.J. Simpson. That's not going to happen if he gets out. So I'm not saying that he's not telling the truth, but I think the reality is times have changed in the last decade, especially with his with the documentary about the murders and about O.J. It's Made in America is the documentary. So, and then of course this might be the craziest thing that O.J. said at his parole hearing earlier today. Take a listen.
I'd like you to tell us a little bit more about victim empathy and alternative to violence and how it will benefit you in the future.
Well, as I said, the alternative to violence course is, I've always thought I've been pretty good with people, and I've basically spent a conflict-free life. I'm not a guy that ever got into fights on the street and with the public and everybody. But
yeah, obviously that runs in direct conflict, not just with Nicole Brown Simpson and with Ron Goldman, but also with what he actually was in jail for, right? Where he got a group of tough guys to try and commandeer his own stuff. He's in jail for stealing his own stuff. I mean, like, look, by letter of the law, or maybe by spirit of the law, he should probably be out in October on parole. But boy, it seemed like he didn't do himself that many favors. This just in: O.J. Simpson has been granted parole. He will be released in October. Wow. Obviously, my hope is that he just goes away. This opens up new wounds for Ron Goldman's family, for Nicole Brown Simpson's family. But the truth is, with our justice system, sadly, it's the right thing to do. Right? He was in jail for stealing his own stuff for far too long, and he was found not guilty of the crimes that many of us, myself included, believe he committed.